You think this was clickbait, but it ain't. And it ain't recent too, but I've told this story way too many times for me not to say this publicly. So, here we go. This is going to be a long story, so let me give you kind of background as to what happened. It's the end of May 2015. I was then a student of the College of the Bahamas, part of the concert band, and we got word from the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture in the Bahamas that we were invited to perform in Santiago de Cuba for their 500-year celebration that was taking place in July. I was very excited and everybody else was excited, especially, but for me this is going to be my third time in Cuba. I've been to Havana twice, but it's going to be my first time in that particular part of Cuba. I did not know what to expect, but I kind of had an idea. We had practices, we had meetings. Basically, we were given the whole rundown as to what was going to happen and what we needed to do and vice versa. We were told that we were going to be there for 10 days. We were going to leave on July 1st and we were going to come back on July 10th, which is the Independence Day for the Bahamas. We did not leave July 1st. From the get-go, we were told that our hotel was going to be covered, our food was going to be covered, transportation was going to be covered, and plus we were going to be given spending money. That spending money was the main concern for us because the days were winding down and we had not received our spending money yet. It wasn't until 2 days before we were supposed to leave that we were told that we will receive our spending money, which was $1,500. A check for $1,500 at the airport, which made no sense because why were we given a check if we needed to have cash on hand, because there's not necessarily going to be a bank over there that's going to convert the money for us. So it really didn't make any sense. And the day before we were supposed to leave, they told us that they were looking into cashing the checks and giving us the money hands-on when we reached the airport. But then later that evening, the day before we were supposed to leave, they told us that we had to meet at the Ministry of Tourism office in downtown Nassau to receive our checks, and we had to cash it in the day of our flight. Our flight was supposed to leave 8 p.m. that night and we had to be at the airport for 6 p.m. I don't know how we were going to get it done, but we had to get it done. I had no worries. I didn't know what office was. I had to ask around, but I managed to get there. I'm usually an on-time person. I was shocked to see the amount of people who were there, but this is me not realizing the massive scale that the organizers were trying to pull off, because again, I was thinking that it was just going to be me and my traveling group, the concert band and concert choir of the College of the Bahamas, who were going to be on said flight, not knowing that there was going to be a whole bunch of other people who were going to be on the flight as well. But I don't know what plane we were going to be flying on. I didn't know what airline we were going to be flying on. Everything was just up in the air. I got my check. I went down to the Royal Bank of Canada and I went home, finished doing my last minute packing, and I was just waiting for time to run out. And it wasn't until I decided to go hop in the shower so I can head to the airport. I always have my phone with me when I go into the shower, and I heard my phone go off. I know that was a message that went into our group chat on WhatsApp. And you ever had that doubt in your head, like you getting ready and then you hear a message and you know that message is a negative one telling you that don't go to the airport, but then you say no, that can't be? So I practically ignored it. But as soon as I got out the shower and I checked my phone, it was a message saying do not go to the airport, stay where you are, our flight is delayed, stand by. And I was like, oh boy, this is going to be something. I didn't know what to expect, but again, I didn't know what plane we're flying on, I didn't know what airline. This is me not understanding the massive operation these people were trying to pull off. And here goes a plane flying by. So it's now July 2nd and I'm just home doing nothing because I had nothing planned because I was already supposed to be in Cuba right now. But I'm just standing by on my phone waiting for the message to say, okay, we gotta go to the airport. The whole day went by and nothing. Late that night they said, okay, we have a flight for tomorrow. Stand by. Already delayed 2 days. Didn't know what to do, but can't really do nothing. July 3rd, I started noticing some traffic flying into Santiago, and it was Saab 340s by a local airline called Sky Bahamas. And I quickly messaged my friend Cameron in the 80, and I told him about it, and I was like, oh my god, I am going on the Saab. I mean, that's kind of logic. I mean, we don't know what plane we're going on. I honestly didn't know. So for me to see that on Flight Away, that basically clicked in my head and say, okay, we're flying on Saabs. But the thing is, Saabs are basically 30-seater planes, and my group is more than 30 people. And it really didn't click into my head as to why those Saabs were going there, but I guess they were just transporting stuff over there. But again, it's me not understanding the massive operation that those organizers are trying to pull off. Me and Cameron talked that night, and I told him that either way you put it, I was going on a plane for the very first time. I was saying it was a Saab. Cameron was saying it might have been one of them Russian planes, maybe an Antonov or an Illusion. Either way, it was going to be very exciting. However, that same day, we were told that our flight was delayed again. And my band conductor said, if they delay our flight one more time, we are not going. We already have the money, so we're not stressing. And I said, okay, I have no problem with that. But they still told us that we have a flight for 8 a.m. July 4th, which was a Saturday. We had to be at the airport for 5 a.m. And I said, okay, no problem. We didn't get any word on a delay or a standby, so everything was good to go. I woke up 3 a.m. that morning. I headed to the airport. Exactly 5 o'clock, I saw some of my bandmates, and I walked into the airport and I saw all these people, and I was shocked. Because again, me not understanding the massive operation that was happening. You know, common sense could have hit me way back when, early in June, when we was having all the meetings with the delegation that was actually going, but I didn't realize that all of us were going at the same time. And that's when I started questioning what exactly was happening. And then I started questioning the planes that I saw too. So maybe those planes were cargo flights, but those were passenger planes that were carrying all the so I really didn't know. And ironically, the amount of people that were at the airport waiting for that flight was 242 people. If you don't understand that reference, you need to look that up. So our flight has already been delayed for more than 3 days. What could go wrong? I haven't even started yet. We got to the airport for 5 a.m. for an 8 a.m. flight, but we were still downstairs in the front of the airport, right behind the check-in desk, after 9 a.m., still waiting for us to check in for our flight that we know nothing about. Now, it wasn't until I was among one of the first people to check in, because it was the organizers who was trying to get their groups sorted out, and I was a tour player, so I had a big instrument that needed to get on the plane and get checked in first. I was among the first people to get my ticket, and what happened next, I can never forget. The night before, I was talking to Cameron, and I told him that I was going to call him as soon as I get my ticket and as soon as I find out what plane I was going on, and I was going to tell him 2 letters or 2 numbers. When I saw my ticket, I broke the promise that I told him I was going to do, and I called him and I told him, Cameron, I'm going on a 767. You see that plane right in the back there? That's our plane. That is Flies Jamaica 767. That was the plane that we were flying on to get to Cuba. Fly Jamaica don't fly to Nassau, but the 767 is my favorite aircraft, so you can imagine my excitement of what was going to happen. We didn't start going through the security area until after 10 o'clock in the morning. You may start seeing some footage right now of what happened, because I did document that day. Everything was basically going fine-ish we were still waiting, and since I knew what plane I was going on and what airline was going on, I knew the fleet that Fly Jamaica had, and I know they only had one 767, so it wasn't going to be hard to identify the registration. The issue I had to know was finding out where that plane was, and the plane somewhat was not trackable back in 2015, and it wasn't until the plane got airborne that I managed to finally track it, and it was flying from Kingston to Nassau, and then from Nassau it'll fly all the way to Santiago de Cuba. Boy, that plane did not land here until shortly after 3:30 in the afternoon. We were already supposed to be in Santiago from 8 or 9 a.m. In fact, we were supposed to be there from July 1st, but so much stuff. They could not tell us why our flight was delayed. They could not tell us. They really didn't know what was going on. I guess they were just going by luck, lack of communication, and I wouldn't say lack of leadership, but it was just a really irritating moment because all of us now were getting anxious on getting there because we have already waited for the last 3.5 days. We are tired. We woke up early. We just want to get there and perform. Especially my group, we were supposed to perform that night, but we didn't get to perform that night for what's going to happen next. After the plane landed and it was pulling up to the gate, I was recording and somebody said something's going to get leave.
All us should be able to fit there. Oh, yeah, the bags are. Something to get leave.
It didn't click in my head that he said that up until I started reviewing some of the footage when I got there days later. Because around 5-6 p.m. I looked on the ground next to the plane and I just saw lone bags. I saw cardboards for the junk new stuff. I just saw stuff that was supposed to be on the plane on the ground. I don't know if they was trying to calculate weight. I don't know what they were doing. And we really started getting irritated because now we were getting hungry. The food concession stands that was already in the terminal was closing down because we were in the international domestic terminal and there really isn't that much of activity that happens there, especially on a Saturday, especially late that afternoon. So my band director decided to take his group, talk to one of the airport managers or directors, and they managed to escort us out of the waiting terminal downstairs into where the check-in area is so that we can go to Wendy's and get something. That means that we'd have to go back through security, but that was okay. I think. I didn't even know if that was legal, but it happened. And shortly after 7, that's when we started getting really irritated, and then we started taking it out on the airport. Literally, we had a music performance with dancers and singing and playing instruments. You can see the video right there. I recorded it and I uploaded it all those years ago. That was basically the highlight of that whole entire day. And then I went back and I looked and the planes closed up and the lights are off, and I was like, this is gonna be a very long night. And something's telling me that they're gonna either tell us to go home and come back, or they're just gonna tell us that we ain't taking off until the next day. So we had to bunker down here at the airport, which I was not having. I sat down and I nodded off to sleep. I don't remember when I went to sleep, but I remember when I woke up, because the minute I woke up, I looked at the time, I picked up my phone and I recorded and I said, "We've been here for 16 hours. Why are we still here?" Oh boy. Could you imagine being in the airport for a whole 16 hours just waiting for a flight? Could you imagine? It's now over 4 days. The plane's already here, but it's unbelievable as to what happened. I don't wish that on anybody. We were really tired. But thankfully, at least for me and my group, we started boarding like 15 minutes later. But that didn't stop anything, because when we got on the plane, that doesn't mean that, oh, we are about to leave. No, because we didn't leave until like an hour later, shortly after 10. And when the plane took off, people just started clapping. I remember when I boarded the plane, I don't know where I got the burst of energy from, but I remember saying that I'm on a 767. Oh my god, I cannot believe it. I have a video, but I ain't playing that because I look ugly in that. We landed in Santiago shortly after 11 p.m. And I would say that's the end of the story, but no, because remember when I said that shortly after 7 or 6 or one of those times, I can't even remember, I did say I saw cardboard and bags on the ground, and I don't know what they did with them. Turns out, and I can't believe it, they left our bags in Nassau. I cannot make this up. 242 people on a 767-300, and they left majority of our bags in Nassau. You know, we were on that plane. Whoever bags were lucky enough to get on. I was surprised my bag managed to get on. I was surprised my tuba managed to get on. But majority of the stuff were cardboard stuff for the junk canoe groups and some of the junk canoers bags. Nothing else boarded that plane. Like, how does that even happen? We didn't leave that airport until shortly after 1 a.m. It's now July 5th. Thinking about it now, I can laugh, but honestly and truly, at that moment, I was irritated, and a lot of people were pissed off, and I would be pissed off with them, because what we were getting ourselves into, we did not know the magnitude of what these organizers were trying to pull off. And I didn't get any sleep that night, and we were woken up early that same morning, and we were told that, hey, we gotta go to the theater so we can talk to the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture at the time, Danny Johnson, who was apparently already in Cuba. Who figured? And that's when we finally got the answer as to why it took us 4+ days in order to get here. Simple answer, they could not find a plane. You mean to tell me you know that you had a delegation of 242 people, and you mean to tell me that y'all could not charter a plane? I mean, not saying that it's easy to charter a plane, but you knew that this was happening months in advance. Is it because you didn't know that you was gonna have the money? You just didn't know the type of people? You didn't just know like how much stuff, or you didn't? Honestly and truly, I don't know what happened. Maybe that's an answer that they gave us, and maybe there's something more to it. He did apologize. We didn't get any vouchers, but we went straight to work, because that same day, all of us on tired bodies, we had to go right there and interact with the Cuban people, because we were told that we'd have to go and do a junk canoe rush out, which is something that I didn't want to do. So I pretended to be like a photographer with my camera and just walk up and down. But yeah, that's basically it. That's some other stuff that happened, but that experience is just way too much. And I can go on and on about what happened while I was in Cuba. Maybe I will, but I ain't post it on this channel. I have a more personal channel that I can post that to. So if you want to, I can describe that whole entire trip. Because if you think that 4-day flight delay was hectic, the days that I was in Cuba is more hectic and tragic. But anyway, that's just me. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and we can link. I ain't going to that no more. No, sir.